this is Dr. Donna Thiel, and I'm here with some tips on making a home schedule for your kids and for your family. Many of you out there might be trying to create a home schedule, or maybe you already have one and it's not working out as well as you'd like it to. So today I'm just going to give you some tips on how you can get the most out of a home schedule, and some of the things that you can do that'll help make it work well for you. If you are working with a school team or a mental health provider or a behavioral therapist, I highly encourage you to speak to them as well and consult with them on what might work best for your child, because they'll definitely have some valuable input. So make sure you use those resources. All right, so this is a video not on how to put together a schedule, in terms of just how to physically make one. There are a lot of resources on the internet where you can do that. I'm not that artistically talented, so I'm not going to tell you how it should look. I'm really going to tell you more about how you use it and how you introduce it to your children. Let's begin with what a schedule is. A schedule is a list of intended events and times of those events. And in this case, we're going to be talking about a visual list, because our kids process visual information often better than they do when we're just telling them what to do. So we want to be able to put together a schedule that'll allow them to be more independent, and that will allow them to predict their day a little bit better. The things that they have to do, the things that they want to do, the things that they like to do. We want to be able to give them a predictable sequence of events for all of those things. If you can get your child to help you create a schedule, then you definitely get bonus points. Kids are more likely to follow a schedule that they have some input in, and they might feel more invested if they actually help you put one together. So I encourage you to make one with your child, if you're talented and you want to be able to do that. If not, if you're like me and you're not really talented at making things, you can go on the internet. There are plenty of sites that have schedules that you can download or print out, and they don't need to be fancy. The important thing is to make sure that the schedule is at the level of understanding that your child has. Again, this is where school team input is often very valuable as well. So for example, some children might need something very basic that's one activity at a time. Perhaps if they have special needs, you might need something that is a visual prompt that's pretty simple. It's just, first we're going to do this, then we're going to do this. Other children might be able to handle a couple of events at a time in a sequence. So for example, first we do math, then we do writing, then we do exercise, and then we do our tablet. Okay. What's important about a schedule is that you do need it to be adaptable. I like to put things in page protectors because then they become dry erase. So as children are completing things, we're able to just kind of check them off. All right, you did your math, you did your writing, you did your exercise, great, you earned your tablet. You can also make these out of Velcro, so that way you can switch things around. It is definitely important for you to have a plan on how you're going to handle changes when they come up, because they will come up. Any schedule that's made always has to have a little bit of flexibility in it, because the weather can change. It can start to rain, so the exercise you're going to do outside becomes the exercise you have to do inside. So you want to be able to have a plan for how you can change things out, either by crossing them out on a dry erase board or being able to move some Velcro pieces around. So make sure you build in that adaptability, because it's really important. You also want to make sure you have a nice balance of fun events along with events that are maybe more challenging or less preferred for your child. No one is going to want to follow a schedule if it's nothing but hard work. I wouldn't even follow that schedule. So you want to have a nice balance on there of activities they have to do as well as activities they want to do. What you can also use is what's called the Premack principle. And that's another way of saying, some of you may have heard it called grandma's rule, where if you eat your vegetables, then you get your cake. So when you do something that you don't really want to do, it's followed by something that you really want to do. So for example, if your child struggles with writing, but they really, really love math, then you want to make math follow writing. So that way math becomes almost kind of a natural reward for when you're done with your writing skills. So you want to be strategic when you're setting up the activities so that you don't have a dense cluster of have-tos. You want to maybe have some balance in there, of putting those less preferred tasks and then making them followed by things that are a little bit more fun. You also want to be able to, if you can, mirror your child's school schedule if you know what that used to look like. Behind the scenes, in the first couple of weeks of school, teachers worked really hard to put together not just a schedule, but to really teach your kids how to follow that. So you want to piggyback on that learning and generalize those behaviors to your home if you can. So if you know what your child's school schedule used to look like or run as, feel free to try and replicate that in your home, because that may save you a little bit of effort and work while you're doing it. Think about where you're going to place your schedule. Often, whether or not children follow a schedule depends on where it is. Think about when people are trying to market cereal to kids. They often put those sugary cereals, the ones we don't want them to have, right there at their eye level, so they're looking right at it. A schedule that's seen is a schedule that can be followed. So you want to make sure that you're putting your schedule in a prominent place of the house. So that might be the refrigerator, that might be on a wall in the playroom. You want it in a place where they could see it, and you want it close enough where they can access it, so close to their eye level, so that way they see what's coming up. And even though your house may have a dry erase board or a cork board that's kind of high up where all the grown-ups can use it, you may want to consider putting the schedule a little further down the wall, because that will help them use it. Definitely consider using timers to show them how long activities are going to be, not just the activities they don't want to do, but also the activities that they really like doing. When you ask your kids to do math, in your head, you may know that that means about 10 or 15 minutes of practice. But from your kid's point of view, without any more clarity on that instruction, they may have a range somewhere from 5 minutes to 40 years. You want to narrow the playing field as much as possible by setting a timer for them and letting them know exactly what you intend. When you allow them to go on electronics or play with their Legos or their toys, you also want to be able to give them what those limits are if you do have those limits. So, hey, I'm going to give you a 30-minute break. You can go play with your Legos. I'm going to set a timer for you. That'll go a long way with having them comply with the schedule and be able to follow your instructions. Also, be strategic with where you put independent activities. You want to make sure that those line up with the times that you need for yourself. If you are a busy parent, you have laundry to do, you might be working from home at this point, so you want to try and maybe put some independent activities like computer-assisted instruction and computer apps and programs on the schedule at times where they can do those things independently while you're getting the laundry done or the cooking done and things like that. All right, when you want to introduce the schedule to your children, I highly recommend doing it the night before or the day before. Schedules are not something you want to spring on children, because they may instantly say, nope, don't want to do that. It's new and that's a little bit scary. I don't know what you're expecting of me, and it might just put a bad taste in their mouth for following the schedule. So you want to be able to introduce it before you're ready to use it. And you're going to introduce it using behavioral skills training. Behavioral skills training has 4 parts to it. The first part is instruction. You want to be able to tell your children what a schedule is, why we're going to use it as a family, and exactly what they're going to be expected to do. So for example, it might sound something like this. Hey, everybody come over here. We're going to have a family meeting. Mommy and Daddy have a new schedule that we're going to use. And this is going to be great because you guys will know exactly what to do in your day. And Mommy and Daddy, we have our schedule that we're going to follow. And what's great about the schedule is that it's going to let us know what we need to do so we can have more free time. We'll be able to enjoy more family time, and everybody can be busy in a day. All right, here's what I'm going to need you to do. When I show you this schedule, Mommy is going to tell you, okay, go do these things. We're going to do them in order, and I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like. And that takes us into the next stage of behavioral skills training, which is modeling. You want to be able to walk the walk. You want to show your kids exactly what it should look like when it's done correctly. So for example, if I take this schedule over here and I say, all right, when it's time for math, watch Mommy, I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do. Ooh, time for math. I'm going to go over to the kitchen table. I'm going to get out my math book. I'm going to get out my supplies. I'm going to set a timer for 10 minutes, and I'm going to do my math. So you want to model for them exactly what they need to do. Okay, when the timer goes off, watch me. I'm going to go over and get my writing work. I'm going to come back to the table. I'm going to get that out. So again, you just kind of want to walk the walk and be able to show them exactly what it looks like when it's done correctly. Then it's their turn. The third part of behavioral skills training is rehearsal. You need to give your child or your children a chance to do it themselves. Practice really does make perfect. So this is where you say, okay, now you show me. All right, time for math. Show me what you're going to do. And you want to have them run through where they should be, what materials they should have, exactly what they need to do. And the fourth part of behavioral skills training, and really important part, is giving them feedback. Some children may need extra motivation to follow a schedule. You may need to put in those preferred events at the bottom, like tablet and electronics, but all children will need praise. All of them will need praise on how they are doing things the correct way. So, wow, you guys, that was fantastic. The timer went off, you went right to the table and you got your math books. That's exactly the way I want to see you do it tomorrow when we start the schedule. Great job. If there was something they missed, you want to give them some gentle corrective feedback as well. All right, guys, when the timer went off, you went to go get a snack. In what you need to do next time is you need to come over to the table, put your math book away first, then you can go get your snack, okay? Let me see you do it one more time and make sure that you end on a note where they've done it correctly. So those are the 4 parts of behavioral skills training. And again, you want to make sure that you're giving them that instruction before you start the schedule, not while you are doing the schedule. You want to have a chance for them to kind of digest the information and sit with it before you start it. If it doesn't work, if your schedule is not going well, don't abandon ship. There's no schedule that's going to go perfect all the time every day. That's like expecting a diet to be perfect every day. We're all going to have lapses. There are always going to be things that go wrong, but it doesn't mean that you have to drop everything. It might mean that you need to scale back a little bit. Perhaps visually, maybe you need to divide the schedule in half so that there's an AM and a PM. It might mean that you need to have fewer activities on there, or maybe you need to put in some more fun activities, or maybe your child just has a different style of learning where they like to get the hard stuff out of the way in either the morning or the afternoon. They have a better time of day. So you might need to turn the dials a little bit until it works for you. But in general, schedules are a great way to help the household run a little more smoothly and give kids predictable information, especially when the world is quite unpredictable. Those routines can be really, really comforting for all children, and particularly if you have a child who has special needs. So hopefully this has given you a couple of things to help your schedule run more smoothly and given you some ways of putting it together. And I wish you lots of luck and success doing it. Thank you.